Now, where did I leave off? So, an elevator room overheated. Girl, I don't know. It wasn't a fire. So, let's jump right in. This is part 2. I had to end my original broadcast because the fire alarm in my apartment went off and I had to go outside in 2-degree weather and freeze my little toesies off. Man, seeing these folks outside with their animals, like their cats, their dogs, trying to calm them from the noise, also keep them warm. And what about people with children? Lord, I'm going to be snacking on some chocolate. This is milk chocolate seahorses, Belgian chocolates. I've also got some cocoa dusted truffles. I've got some candies here. So you're going to see some snacks, some Lindor Lindor truffles. Ooh, look at this chocolate seahorse. Belgian. Okay. Anyways, I was talking about Mike and Justine and about I think I was talking about Mike and Justine. That's the last thing I remember. So that's where we're gonna start. Better days. Hello. Do you remember what I left off at? Does anyone remember where I left off at? Oh, wait, open here. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's just milk chocolate in the shape of a seahorse. I mean, not that I actually thought it was seahorse, but I thought it'd be something interesting. Uh-huh. Okay, where was I? All right, I'm just gonna say Justine has no doubts that their relationship is going to work. So then in episode 32 with them for this season, which is the second episode of this season. Do I have to say my hellos again? Hello everyone, this is Wahima. Part 2. Love After Lockup. Married and Released. The Jeweler and the Thief. Hello. If you guys, you should go watch part 1. You'll see what happened. Okay, anyways. So in the second episode, Justine son gets home from school, and Mike has nothing but smiles and a big hug for them. It is very endearing. It is just so lovely to see. And he's like, "How you doing, baby?" And I just loved it. Oh my god, just watching him be so endearing and cute with her kids just made me very, very happy. He says that he loves her kids, and then they decide that they're going to go to a hotel. It looks like, he's like, Mike, she says Mike looks very good with hot water dripping down his body, but he wanted to take things slow. He just didn't want to take her in the shower. He said, we've been waiting this long. Like, let's make the whole thing special and let's make it worth it. So they call a babysitter. Mike tells the boys to behave themselves and that they're representing their parents when they're away. And Justine says, okay, you guys better be okay here in the house. We're going to go and we're going to spend some alone time together. Justine says that it's really important for Mike to get along with her kids. She also says she can tell that her oldest son is, feeling a little territorial, because it's one thing to have Mike, on the phone for 3 years, but it's another thing to have him in the house all of a sudden. He says that he's used to being the man of the house, and now he's not. So, things are a little changing a little bit. And 3 years is a substantial time to talk to somebody and to have somebody in your life, but have them actually not be there. So he says he's not going to call Mike dad, and I don't think he should have to, even though it's interesting to find out that the last real relationship that she's had was her ex-husband, but none of her kids' fathers are in their lives, which just makes me very sad to know that. And I wonder why. I wonder, was her husband any of their fathers? And if so, her husband is not taking care of his kids? Like, they were actually married. I don't know. So Justine and Mike get to the hotel. He can't wait to hold her and touch her and all the great stuff. And they keep talking about how they want to rip each other's clothes off. But I know that they are worried and, anxious and nervous, as anybody should be, right? Like, this is your first time being able to explore somebody's body, and it's got to be nerve-wracking. So they do their obligatory Love After Lockup scene where they, film them in the room, except for they don't do that one scene where the person like pushes the camera guy out and is like, okay, you got to go now. We didn't have that scene, but what we did have is a final shot of Justine's toes, bare toes, on a Comfort Inn carpeted floor. You guys, I don't know how old you are, and I don't know where you are in the world, and I don't know how often you travel. This is one thing from one traveler to you. Get yourself some hotel shoes. Do not step your tootsies on the carpeted floor of any hotel room. Don't do it. You might as well just walk outside with no shoes because there's no deep cleaning. Okay? Fancier hotels will actually give you shoes to walk around in. Just go to the Target, go to the Walmart, go to the Dollar Tree. If you have to get yourself some flip-flops, even though flip-flops, like, the dust particles be flipping and flopping around on your feet anyway, but like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what station you are in life. I don't care how old you are. Go and get you some slippers that you specifically wear in hotel rooms. And if they're disposable, so be it. I have a pair that I keep in my bag and I wear those. Don't let your toesies touchies the groundsies. Okay? Don't let it happen. Thank you, Renee. Other people know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because I know we had to start all over again. You know what I'm saying? Ugh, it's crazy. I was talking about his family not coming to his release. Yeah, it's really interesting that they didn't come. Hi, Erica. Hello. So yeah, they didn't come to his release, which is so weird. But I don't care. I'm not mad at them. I'm not saying they're wrong. Maybe they're like, oh, we're filming the show. See me on another day. Listen, if I have to wait to see you so that I don't have to share your love or your affection or your time with somebody else, then I'll wait. Then I will wait because I know me. And this is something that I learned about myself in my 20s is that if I'm excited to see somebody, I have to tell them, you have to see me when you're not surrounded by people because I want your attention, your full attention. It could be friend, it could be anybody. I don't care. Like if you're coming to see me, I need a moment. I need an hour with just you so that I could like get to see my friend or whatever. Anywho, now I know that about me. Okay, so that is the end of their love story until next time to see how the sex was, which really, girl, I don't care. It's not my any of my business. Next couple that we are going to talk about, let's see whose picture is next. Did we talk about Chris and fuckface? Oh my God, I hate them so much, especially knowing how their story ends. Like, I just hate them. And this man is so unattractive. He's one of the most unattractive men I have ever seen in my entire life. And like, just knowing what he does in the end is just, I don't know. I need more details, but he's garbage. So we start off with Gabby and I didn't even talk to you guys about episode. I keep wanting to just talk about episode 2 because I already talked about episode 1 in my podcast, DocuSweeties, which you should go and check out. It can be listened to on Apple Music, on Google, on Spotify, anywhere that you would listen to a podcast. DocuSweeties can be heard. So please check out my podcast. It's with me and Chris. Okay. Anywho, so with their segments, Gabby is still a spoiled brat, except for now she's got a lot of stuff done to her face. I mean, she's almost unrecognizable. She has such that she had a brow lift, a chin this, a lip that, a filler here, a Botox there. And now we see her and she's going to her homegirl Hazel to get her hoo-ha tightened. This woman has not had any children and she's like wanting her vagina to be tight for this man. This is what I'm saying, okay? The idea that a woman is somehow loose, like physically loose, is crazy. I mean, she would have to have trains going in and out. She would have to have so much of a very specific type of sex with a very specific type of penis in order for her shit to not snap back. Like, it's a muscle. It goes back. And so for her to be feeding into this narrative that she needs to go get it tightened like she's had 4 children, no. You're wasting money. She spent all of the money that he gave her. It's crazy. And then she is gonna go with his family. She hates them people. And all she wants to do is talk about them. Now, I'm not saying that Chris's mother isn't unfortunate. She's an unfortunate looking woman. And listen, I don't like to disparage black women. I truly don't. I truly don't. But Chris looked like his mama. I said it. I'm not going to say it again. Hello, everyone. He looks like a corpse. Hello, Linda B. Hi, Brooke. Welcome. So, I mean, and I'm not saying that Gabby is the best person, but also the way they talk about her and dog her out in her own car is wild. Now, she lets it happen. And when she tries to like revolt against them, she ends up looking stupid and wasting time. So, in their segment, she is getting that done to her hoo-ha in order to be fresh and ready to go for whatever his name is, Chris. And we find out that she's going to go with her mother and the sister to pick him up from the Greyhound because they're dropping him off at a Greyhound. Now, on the way there, the family's already like, Chris is not going to like the way you look. Okay, you spent $30,000 on your face. They're not going to like that. That upsets her. The sister, kid you not, season 1, the sister was smoking blunts on camera, rolling them up. I mean, just like, dang. Listen, as somebody who smoked a lot of weed in their 20s, for you to be smoking blunts like that by yourself, by yourself, just rolling a blunt and smoking it, bro, you smoke a lot of weed. I mean, that shit was wild. She's still doing it on this season. Abby refers to them as 2 trolls in her car. Now she's gonna talk mess about these people. I mean, the sister is not ugly. That mama though. That mama and her wigs, girl, she be wearing the craziest looking wigs. I mean, the color is just wrong. The styles are wrong. It's wrong. And the sister don't be trying to help her mama out with them wigs. The sister's wigs look good. I like the sister style. But the mom? She looked like she had a hard life. Child. A hard life. Anywho, so they're driving. She's got an attitude, Gabby. They finally get to the hotel. Gabby is so broke that she can't even afford her own room at a Comfort Inn. They're not staying at the Hilton. They're not staying at a Marriott. These rooms are probably only $7.99, $95 a night. And she can't spend one night in her own room. She don't got no money. They in there in 2 double queen size, both rolling blunts. Like, it is wild. It is just like the wildest thing ever. It's so wild. So the next morning, the mother's like, oh, you in a better mood? Sister's like, yeah, because you was acting up. And she's like, whatever, I want to go. Let's go. Because she's trying to go so she can be there early so that when the bus pulls up, she can like run in the bus. Now, Chris is going to tell some story to us that he's borrowing the bus driver's phone. There is no reason for them to even make an explanation as to why Chris has a phone. Like, I never thought, oh my God, how does Chris have a phone? But to then make up an explanation that sounds wild, that sounds so stupid, especially for how many times Chris called his mother and his girlfriend and mother and Gabby and all this stuff. I was like, y'all, why you gotta make up a lie for? We don't care about how he got a phone. Oh, the bus driver let me use his phone. I mean, did the bus driver let everybody use his phone? This Greyhound bus driver let this strange ass out of the prison convict use his phone. Matt Sharp, does that make any sense? We ain't stupid. We not stupid. So she's trying to go. And the sister and the mother are just like, oh, we got time. It only takes an hour and a half to drive where he's at. We still got 45 minutes. We could just sit here and eat. And she's like, I'm trying to go. And I feel her. When you just want to get to your destination, maybe they could just get to the next destination and eat. Why do they got to sit down and have their continental breakfast with their Starbucks? And then they're like, oh, she can't want to see him more than we do. Who does she think she is? It's her car. Then she finally gets fed up and she's like, never mind. Y'all can stay here. Get out of my car. Because they finally are ready to go. And she's cussing and she's wilding out like she's about to fight somebody. And she's not about to fight nobody. But here's the absolute truth. Should Chris's sister decide to pull out her paws and fight Gabby, Gabby will be on the ground dead. Gabby's not surviving a fight with that sister. Gabby is not surviving a fight with that sister. Okay? One good swipe, Gabby's on the ground, just like a bear on the ground. Okay? So there's that. There's that action that's about to happen. So Gabby decides that she's going to go to a police officer who's like unmarked and is like dressed in regular clothes, who's clearly on duty waiting to catch somebody act a fool. And she's like, are you a police officer? Can you help get my husband's mother and sister out of my car? Because they won't get off the car. I don't want them in my car anymore. And he's like, you're going to have to call the regular police. Then she gets out her phone to call the regular police. And she's like, I can't. Oh my God, I hate the police so much. I can't call them. I'm like, but you was finna walk up to this one right here. Excuse me. You finna walk up to this one right here to try to get these ladies out your car. Could you imagine if that sister had just like pulverized Gabby? Pulverized. She would have been pulverized. Mama was hilarious though. Gabby had a lot of work done on her face and lips. She did. Jasmine, Baba baby Pinky Bucket. Hi, how are you? Oh my God. Anywho, so then in the rest of this episode, like he calls her and is like sweet talking her for whatever reason. He's not mic'd at this time, so we don't hear the conversation. Then he calls his mother and is like, well, she's the one that being a problem. We're ready to go. Now we're going to be late. So she finally is like, okay, let's go. Cause she says that he sweet talks her and that's what he does. He's really good with his words. And I'm like, he must be. Cause that's the only thing that, I mean, like visually, what are you, I mean, could you when you first see somebody and you're like, oh my God, they're cute. Okay, it's fine. They're in prison because they're cute and they've got a great body. We see this little spindly spaghetti man come out of prison with his like whack ass braids, and he is very unattractive. Busola, hello. I just do not get it. Very unattractive. I mean, I know looks on everything, but like, I guess knowing what I know about him now and the fact that he like beat her up, like, I don't have any patience for him. So I just want to go in on him at every moment. So they drive to the place. They're 15 minutes late. They get there. They're very excited to see him. She swears that she's going to get the first hug. So she gets out of the car and runs and jumps up to him. I feel like she got her butt done because it looked unnaturally large and it didn't match them thighs. And he's like grabbing her butt and he's like, yeah, me and Gabby can stay married because she has straight hair. She got a nice body. She got pretty teeth. She got all her teeth. Every time somebody says that someone else has all their teeth, I'm like, what toothless individuals are you seeing? Your sister got all her teeth. Your mama got all her teeth. What women are you messing with that ain't got their teeth? She got all her teeth. What kind of... You act like you from, I don't know. She got all her teeth. Like, that's the bare minimum. Oh, weird. Anyways, and that's what's going to make your relationship last? Gross. That is because she got a nice body, so you guys will be fine? That is weird. So we already know that they're not even met, and we know that they're going to get married as well. So his family is hugging up on him, and Gabby's trying to like be standoffish because she so badly wants it to be them and her and like a separate, like, oh, he's with me, I'm his wife, like I'm wifey. And So reason why she wants to marry Chris right away is because he won't be able to parole at her house unless they're married. And so she wants to do like the, swoop in and steal him from his family so that he can come stay with her and they could be married together. She's like, oh no, because I want to be married and be happy and live happily ever after. And they don't want that. They don't want nobody to be happy. And I'm like, girl, y'all are not going to be happy. Chris's sister is like, oh, well, when he's done using her, he'll move on to the next. Like, they don't have any respect for her because they don't think that the son is going to really, truly be there for her. And we don't either. We don't buy it for one moment. What skills does that person have? That person is going right back into prison. That person has no skills. And she wants to marry somebody who's been down for 6 years. And then he's going to tell her that he spent 270 days straight in prison at one point. I mean, in the hole at one point. He needs therapy. You don't spend 270 days straight in the shoe and be okay at any point. He's like, oh, I split the money between my mom and Gabby. And now I wish I really had that money. I mean, she really was trying to live like the drug dealer's girlfriend's life. It was like crazy. She's like, yeah, my man's in prison and he gave me $100,000 and I spent all of it. But we're gonna be a happily married couple. Doing what, Gabby? You look real stupid. What are y'all about to do? 6 years in prison? What is he? He has no discernible skills. What is he gonna do? It is just wild. Watching their whole segment is so stupid because then they like go into the bathroom, girl, and she tries to like fuck him in the stall. It just, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. She tries to like have sex with him in the bathroom, girl. And I said, ew. This is the difference between Chris and Michael. They are in like a Greyhound public restroom. And I know it smells. I could smell that restroom from my kitchen. And she's going to be in there talking about, oh, I bent down to get something and I stayed down there a little bit longer. Ugh, y'all is nasty. Y'all are nasty. And then they have some soundbite of a security guard being like, y'all not going to do that in here. And I was like, is that real? Did that even happen? And so then she like stops and I guess pulls up her pants and like runs out. She's like, oh, hurry up, Chris, get dressed. He's like, I'm just getting dressed. I was just like, y'all nasty. Ugh. Nasty. Okay. Gross. So then they sneak off, they get married, and while his mother and his sister are in the car, and he's like, oh man, I'm getting married, and my mother and my sister are sitting in the car, and they're supposed to be over here being my witness, and I ain't got nobody I was like, who's the witness? The camera crew? Who were the witnesses? There was no witnesses. They had to have production sign the form. And then I'm like, Chris, if you really wanted your mother there, you would have went and got them. She wasn't holding you. Gabby wasn't holding you by your throat. They're stupid. I think I'm going to be annoyed with them. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the next couple. And that is because I have another live to go on to. Jesus. That fire alarm just really ruined my life. Couldn't even take a break. Okay, let's move on to my favorite couple, Ashley and Travis. Ashley, I think she's drunk every time I see her. She's just like drunk. I mean, I love it, but she's drunk, right? So we've got Ashley, who is a buyer of jewelry. Girl, I don't even know what she said. Here, let me try to find there. Ashley. She's like, we're gonna go see Daddy. And then she falls in her own bathroom, slipping on the rug. And he's like, he calls the rug the arch nemesis, I guess, because she has slipped on the rug before. It's 2 days till Travis's release. She would consider herself compassionate, wild, and patient, and a freak in the sheets. She says that she was one time engaged to because the guy liked her butt. I don't know. This person seems drunk to me. She is a antique and estate fine jewelry purveyor. I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess she goes to jewelry, antique sale. I mean, she goes to antique shows and estate sales and looks for jewelry to buy so that she can resell, I guess. She has been with Travis for 4 years. He served a 13-year bid for our bank robbery. And he really does think that his transition into her life is going to be seamless, which is wild. You spent 13 years in prison. What year is it? It is the year of our Lord 2020. 10 years ago was 2012. Okay. 2012. And then let's go 3 years past that. That is, math is 2009. Yeah, 2009. 2009? I don't even know what happened in the aughts. From the year 2000 to year 2009, what happened? Were people still using, I mean, was the first iPhone out? Yes. It was maybe iPhone 2. Like, you're barely getting into smartphones. Like, I mean, he went in when phones were barely a thing. This man knows nothing about Uber. He knows nothing about DoorDash. Okay? He doesn't know about Tinder. He knows about Facebook on a computer. When he went into prison, phones didn't even take good photos. Y'all, 2009? Bruh. What kind of, I didn't even have an iPhone in 2009. I had an Android. Mm-hmm. And I used to hate getting on the internet with it. I used to be like, oh my God, you had to like buy minutes. I don't know. It was a long time ago. You'd have to buy minutes, but I never had the fast enough speed for all of that. So anyways, it's not going to be seamless. You know what I'm saying? So she met him because a customer's brother, because he's a customer's brother. So some woman she met, that's her brother. Travis is the customer's brother. And she slid into his JPay and started giving the man money. She says that she spent $80,000 on him thus far. She a fool. So he's given her some kind of prison ring, and the first thing he tells her when they're on video is that she looks cute, really cute, but very tired. Then they start talking about the types of sex positions, and he's like, I just really want our arms and limbs to be all over each other. And like, he's been 13 years in prison. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If a man has spent more than 7 years in prison, he hasn't been celibate. Somebody done sucked on something and he's done put something in somewhere. This man is talking about like rolling around in the sheets with her and having a boob on his face while a thigh in between his thighs. Like, he is really trying to just like grapple and be all up in her because he is that starved for affection. Now, Ashley is crazy because while she does love Travis and she can't wait for him to come there, she is desperately kind of scared that he's going to rob her. Because she has all this jewelry around the house and she knows that he has a problem with drugs or had a problem with drugs. Who knows how long he's been clean, because you can get drugs in prison. So she's like, oh, I'm worried that people are going to judge me because of what I do, that I'm marrying somebody who like legitimately could steal from me. And so she like marries a bank robber, a guy who like stole cars and did other things of theft in order to get money for drugs. And if he's not truly over his addiction, then he might steal from her. But she's so in love with him. So we find out that she has this next door neighbor who she kind of freaked out on because he asked her in a text message if she still needed him to watch her house, and she freaked out thinking that he was trying to back out of it. And so then she calls him over and she's like, I'm so sorry I yelled at you. And he's like, my won't pay no more. And this man has like a thing on the side of his mouth. And I don't know if it was some skulls, if he was like chewing some tobacco and it was just like hanging out here, or if he has a growth. Not sure. But it was very odd and evident. And she's like, yeah, Travis doesn't want me hanging out with you because you're handsome. And I said, who's handsome? Who are we looking at? Are we looking at Marvin? Because there must be somebody named Martin who's behind him who is handsome. And Marvin is like, uh-huh. And Marvin's like, oh, she's really pretty and I would take her out if she wasn't with Travis. And I'm like, what world are we living in here? Now, I'm not saying that the woman's not pretty. I think she has beautiful eyes. And I think she has an interesting spirit. But what I do know is that she doesn't have any cups. Madam only bought some glassware because Travis was coming. But otherwise, she served everybody and anybody out of Solo cups. I mean, they weren't red, they were alternate colors like peach, which I thought was cute. But I'm like, sis, you're like 38. You have to buy glassware. I mean, when I lived by myself, when I was like in my early 30s, I did not have plates. Let me tell you why, though. Because I hate washing dishes. And I didn't have a dishwasher. So I was like, oh no, I'm not buying plates. Paper plates. I bought paper plates because I didn't want to wash dishes. Now I have a dishwasher. So I have paper plates and glassware because I'm an adult. So, anyways, that woman's weird. Oh, Miss Ashley, but she's going to be my favorite because I know she's crazy. She's crazy and I love it. She's just like, so she's like, oh my God, I love him so much, but also I'm scared he might steal from me. Hasn't told any of her friends yet. And then she's going to tell Marvin that Marvin needs to be around, or Martin. His name is Martin. So maybe it was Marvin that I'm looking for. Martin has to be around, you know, her neighbor / handyman in case Travis gets crazy. Because you know, she wants him to protect her from Travis. And Martin is like, I want to meet Travis and I can be his friend because I don't want no animosity and I don't want or any violence, you know. I mean, Martin is about $120 soaking wet. That is a skinny man. He's not fighting a person who's been in prison for 13 years. But Ashley wants him to. So next episode we have with Ashley is she is very excited because now it's even closer to the time when that man's getting out of prison, Travis. And so she's at work and she's going to go like talk to one of her work friends and Travis calls and she's like, oh my God, I'm so busy and he's calling. So she gets with these vendors who are her friends and she's spent like $25K to $30K from them. And they really like her. They're really good friends. And I'm like, yeah, if somebody spent that much money at my business, they'd be my really good friend too. She finally tells them and she doesn't want them to judge her and she starts crying. And she's like, I'm actually picking him up from prison. You know, I told you I'm picking up Travis. I'm picking him up from prison. But I feel bad because like, I don't want anybody to judge me and I'm so sorry I'm crying. But you know, he was in prison for bank robbery. And the friends were like, oh, we've never heard that before. So did you meet him like while he was in prison or before? And she's like, no, while. And they're like, oh. And she's like, but he didn't do anything crazy like murder or child molestation. It was for robbery. And they were like, oh, so you're not worried that he's going to like steal from you? You don't think he'll be tempted? And she's like, no, because he's got the rarest jewel of all, me. But no, she is worried. She is worried that he's going to do that to her. And they're like, listen, we trust you. And if you trust him, that's good enough for us. And so the next day she goes to travel and she's put too much stuff in her luggage. And I guess they didn't tell her that. And part of the caveat, I guess, in the fine print is that they could take her bag off because if the plane was too heavy. So they took her bag off. And in her bag has all the important things that she needs. And I wanted to be like, girl, you've never traveled. The first rule of travel is the thing that you really need, the thing you cannot live without, needs to be in your carry-on, which is why, here's another tip for you guys who don't travel. If you have a carry-on and you have a checked bag, you should leave like underwear. You should have like 2 pairs of clothes in your carry-on. You should have your toothbrush. You should have toothpaste. You should have all your little toiletries, but you should also slide in, if you can, an extra pair of underwear, brassiere, you know, whatever it is that you need, a different shirt. You know, if you're wearing jeans, you could just have a different shirt. You should bring the thing so that in case your checked luggage does not arrive, you are not without all of your toiletries. You should always do that. I always have 2 pairs in my carry-on, 2 pair of underwear in my carry-on, and like a shirt or something else that I would need. But really all you need is underwear and a shirt, a different shirt. A pair of shoes if you're going somewhere cold. But that's what you have to do. And so she's like, oh my God, are you serious? When they're telling her, yeah, like your baggage is not coming until tomorrow. She's like, that can't happen. She's like, I'm going to be calm with you. I'm not going to yell at you right now, but I'm telling you right now, you see this camera crew behind me? It's because I'm going to go get somebody out from prison and y'all just can't just be held in my shit hostage. So if there is a way that shit could get on a plane tonight to get here, that would be great. Because I have everything important that I need in that bag. And so somehow they get it to her. First it's 6 a.m. the next morning, and then it's like, oh, 1:30. We can get it here by 1:30 p.m. AM. So they get it to her. She's been up all night. She wakes up. She has curlers in her hair, and then she goes to the prison with the curlers in her hair. She forgot hairspray, but she takes them out. I think her hair looks cute. And she gets there. He comes out of prison, and he's got boxes in his hand, and she is so nervous to meet him. It's a beautiful day. I mean, the grass is green, and he is slightly overwhelmed when he comes out, but he is like, they're just talking to each other a mile a minute, and I can tell they like each other. But I just worry about what's going to happen in the future. What are you guys saying? Ooh, 55 comments. I'm looking at my notes. You guys are going on in over here. My checked luggage has been delayed for days, and that's a lesson I learned. Yep. I think if this is Ashley's personality, then it explains why she has difficulties in a relationship, too emotional and unstable. Right, Wah. Spend money in my business and I'll make sure you'll keep spending in my business. I'll be your friend. Yeah. Why did she tell them? I think you have to. I think that's part of the show. Because at this point, everybody always tells everybody their business. I think the producer was like, hey, can you tell your friends? And she's like, no. And they're like, no, can you tell your friends, please? And she's like, I don't want to. And they're like, listen, we're not going to be able to sell your segment if you don't tell your friends. And she's like, okay. Because here's what I think happens. This is what I think. I think people put forth their stories, right? And I think that there is like a certain amount of producers that get sent out to go be with that person. And I think that they film a couple of things and then they bring that footage back to the executive producers, and the executive producers decide who goes forth. And sometimes we wonder why they choose certain people. And sometimes it's just like, oh, this is a great choice, we never know. It's 3 minutes till Christmas in the UK. Did it already happen? It already happened. Happy Christmas in the UK. Happy Christmas in the UK. Happy Christmas in the UK. I forgot that it's Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas because I don't have not a decoration in this place. Y'all, it takes a lot of money to move. It takes a lot of money to move. I have to give away this couch or sell it or some shit. Like it takes a lot of, how much stuff I needed? I just needed stuff and I don't have any money for anybody else. Also, I get paid differently now. I get paid once a month. So I got paid a long time ago. I had to conserve it for the rest of the month. I'm trying to figure everything out. So everybody's going to get a Christmas gift in January. Also, you know what? It's still going to be cold here in January, like frigid in January and February. I might decorate my house fully in January. It might be full Christmas in January in this house. Here's to that. Here's to that. Why does she carry her jewelry around? She says she carries her jewelry around because she doesn't want anybody to break into her home and steal it. And I thought to myself, then get you a safe, you weirdo. She weird. We're having horrible ice storms in Eastern Canada here. We're having ice problems here too. Well, I get paid on the very last of every month. Me too. And I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle it. It's new for me. I am the same this year. I've been so sick. I'm just about staying. Oh, I'm hoping you're feeling better. I'm glad that you were able to join us, and I hope that you feel better. Ugh. I hope you feel better. I got sick 2 weeks ago. Girl, my whole neck froze up. I had some kind of glandular infection. I woke up and I was fine. By the time I got in the car, I couldn't even turn my head this way. I was like, I was like trying to like merge and I had to do this to get to the like look. Oh, I had to twist my whole body. I was like Big Ed. I had to turn my whole body because I couldn't move my neck in order to like get over merge into the next lane. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was in such pain. Oh, and I went and got a massage It was the first week of I got sick the first week of December. Yep, because I remember the 7th I was sick, and that was a Wednesday. I wasn't sick. Yeah. But I wasn't sick by the time I got to Vegas. I was on antibiotics though. I said it. Yes, ma'am, I said it. Okay. I feel like you're more likely to get robbed out and about than breaking and entering, right? You're absolutely correct. She's a fool. And the man who looked like a troll doll coming out of prison. Oh yeah, we didn't get to him. We didn't get to him yet. I forgot. We gotta get on the move here. I gotta take a break between my next one. Okay. So who else do we have? We talked about them. Oh, Monique and Derek, girl. Monique is wild. Okay. Monique is wild. This woman gonna say, well, if he does this, I'm gonna beat his ass. And then she said something else like, if they want to, if you want to fight, we could just fight. And I'm like, ma'am, just because you big don't mean you could fight. Somebody's gonna mollywop her all across. And I mean, her wigs are laid. Okay, let me back up. She got some good wigs. Okay. Miss Monique, that wig is laid. Look at this wig. It looks good on her. Now, this foundation is a little gray. Okay. And maybe a brown lip wasn't the choice, but I'm not mad at it altogether. I'm not mad. So Monique is with Derek, and they've been talking for maybe 2 years now. And the first thing we see in episode 1 is she's driving, and she's like, you know what they say, sex out of prison is the best. And I was like, girl, who said that? You just made that up. So she says that her normal behavior is that she only spends a couple days with a guy and then she's like on to the next. But because Derek's in prison, you know, she couldn't say on to the next, I guess. So he's in prison for drugs. He's been in prison since he was 19. He's now 29, but it says that he's been in prison for less than that. So I guess he's been in and out of prison since he was 19. They've been dating for 2.5 years, never met. They met on a pen pal website. Derek likes to work out 2 times a day. And her friends and her sisters think that Derek is too young for her because I guess she's used to getting with older men. The friends want to know, like, what's up? Like, does he want kids? Is he gonna marry you? And she's like, listen, we're not talking about all that. We're just trying to get to know each other and see each other, and y'all are being real negative. And the sisters want to know, sis, does he know how big you are? Because we feel like you might have given him full body photos of yourself and you have not been for real. Now, they're not trying to say that she's unlovable or she's ugly or anything like that. They're just trying to say he may not be attracted to you because you weren't forthcoming and honest with him about what it is that you look like. You know, and some men do not like women who are bigger than them. And so that's just a reality that I think her sisters were trying to like impart on to her. But she was just like, you're being negative. And I really do think that she wants to smother Derek with like love and money in order to keep him around. Now, here's the backstory with our girl. Our girl Monique had a very tragic thing happen to her. She lost a child. The baby was born a couple of months premature and like didn't only last like 4 days outside of the womb. And so she ended up gaining 150 pounds because she drowned her sorrows into, you know, alcohol and drinking. And so she has a lot of healing that she needs to have happen. And it's unfortunate. And I feel so bad for her. And I wish that she had the healing that she needed. Now she's going to go to a nutritionist, and this nutritionist is going to try to charge her $5,000 for 12 weeks. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a counselor is involved, because the truth is that she would require a counselor in order to help her. Like when you have a problem with food, a lot of times it takes some kind of therapy to better understand like why you choose to overeat in the way that you overeat. And maybe just working out is not going to work out for you, you know, because it's more than just, oh, I overeat. It's a pattern. It's what triggers your brain, what food does to you. Food absolutely makes me happy. Like, I am not hungry at all right now. I wouldn't say I'm full, but I'm not hungry. And I'm like, I literally am. Like, what could I eat? Because the action of just like, it just like endorphins galore. I love it. So that requires me to do some soul searching and some like get some support to help to see why I feel that way or why I do the things that I do. And so I think with anybody, like you require that. And so just to go to your nutritionist and have you pay $5,000 was a lot of money to get help when they're not even getting to the root of the problem. So she says that Derek has a high sex drive and they often give each other like sexy pictures. She actually sent him a picture of her vagina. And I just said, how did you take that picture? You must have had a selfie stick, because I can't even imagine how I would take a picture of my vagina. Would I want to? No, I don't want to. But anyway, she sent that to him and somehow it got through. You know, they stopped those kind of pictures. So I don't know. Now the whole prison's seen her vagina. You know what I'm saying? So she recently got diabetes and sleep apnea. And then he says that he doesn't want to sleep next to her with the machine on. What? The machine is necessary because with sleep apnea, you stop breathing in your sleep. And that is very, very terrifying and very scary. So if you're going to tell somebody that you supposedly love that you don't want them to breathe at night, that is wild. And maybe it's the way that she's saying it back to us, but it just makes it seem like he's super controlling. But she's also controlling too. Because we see in the next episode, she's trying to put cameras surreptitiously around his grandmama's house where he's paroling in order for her to see the goings on that's happening in that house. And then, so she calls her sister, who is driving her to Ohio, and that's where he's paroling. So she's going up there for 2 weeks to hang out with him. And she tells her sister she's going to have all these cameras around his grandma's house. She's going to secretly put cameras around this old lady's house. I'm sure this lady has a knick-knack of a paddywhack and everywhere, every which space, which means that she knows what's around her house. So what are you going to just drop? Like, I'd be damned if I walked into this house and I saw some little something on this thing and I'm like, who put that there? What's that? I would absolutely notice it. So I don't know why she thinks she's about to get away with this. So she tells us that she's made it clear to Derek that it's very important that she's the first person to see him when he gets out of prison. And that he's made it clear to his family that's what's going to be. Which I'm like, no, that man didn't. No, that man did not. Every single time some woman thinks that she's about to be the first person to see that person come out of prison, it always goes wrong. That doesn't, you can't tell your family who has been doing prison time with you that they can't come see you because there's some girl you met 2 years ago. And she says it's because she feels like she's held him down when they didn't. But a lot of time folks don't, just from my experience, when I was talking to the guy that I was talking to in prison, his family never wrote him. And I was appalled. I said, how come they're not writing you? And he's like, they just don't. It's not, a lot of times folks don't. They don't write, they don't call, they don't have the money, they don't have the time. Like, it's just not a part of what they think to do. They're like, you went to prison, so we'll see you when you get out, playa. And maybe that's what happened. And so for her to feel like she has some kind of, I don't know, like not lean, but some kind of like something over them because she's been a fool and spent all her money on him for over the last 2.5 years, doesn't mean that she deserves the right to tell them they can't be there. So that was weird. Then she's calling, then Derek calls and this is some juvenile nonsense. So what she's done is she has pitted her boyfriend and her sister against each other. And she gonna let these two argue in front of her without her stepping in and being the adult and stopping the argument from happening. Because she's told her sister that he doesn't like for her to go out and do stuff because he wants her to be his girlfriend and be at home. And the sister doesn't like that controlling mess because she's probably seen her sister through a lot of nonsense. So sis is like, listen, I know you don't like me or whatever. And he's like, I never said that. And she's like, yeah, Monique has told me that you don't like me because you don't like me asking her to go out. Like, you don't even like when she goes to the grocery store. And he's like, I never said that. You have me out here like I'm a bad guy. And she's like, no, you're controlling. And I'm going to tell you right now. And this is all Monique's fault. The fact that these two people are fighting is all Monique's fault. So I'm like, okay, Monique is an ish starter, which is annoying. Oh, she's an ish starter. So then they get to the hotel, girl, and she brings out Burberry's joggers and $1,100 jeans. And I'm just like, 1,100. Listen, I will spend money on some clothing, but I won't spend money on designer sweatpants because those sweatpants come from the same Chinese distributor and warehouse as the cheap ones. Why would you spend money on designer things that you could get cheaper? Now, if it's a very specific shirt or a pattern or a type of, I don't know, something, I can kind of see it. Folks in this apartment on the weekends be wilding out. I could be making more noise and I don't. Anyways, so I'm just like, it is wild what this woman has done. And then her sister's like, Monique has not gotten anybody in our family anything. In fact, she hasn't even gotten her nephew, whose birthday was last week, anything. And she's spending $1,100 on some jeans. And I felt that sister in that moment. I say, you didn't get anything for your nephew? Your nephew? And you're buying him things? Girl, get on. Now we have a whole thing with her buying that man a phone and then setting up a password so that she could hijack it and go into it and look to see what he's doing. Now, listen, I'm saying that it's crazy, but it's also smart. I will say that because he's just out of prison and you can't be trusted. As far as I know, he can't be trusted. He cannot be trusted, but I don't like the fact that he's controlling. I don't like it at all. Monique is buying his affection. I think so. So, if you guys want to show your girl some love and do a, Cash App, a Venmo, anything like that, I'm not gonna stop you. In fact, I would enjoy it. I would be so grateful if you did. If I gave you the hee hee ha ha's and you'd like to give your girl a Christmas gift, you can. If for those of you guys who are international, you can do a thanks. It's not a super chat, but it does the same thing. It's a thanks. Thank you. I'd appreciate it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hi, Ramsterdam. Welcome back. Merry Christmas. Okay. Oh, I gotta go. My next one is starting very soon. I think I put it for 6:40. Woo. Okay. So what's the next couple that we're going to talk about? Cameron and Aries. Oh my God. First of all, that man came out looking like a little troll, somebody said. Oh my God. I don't have a good picture of them, but this is the picture I have. And they end up getting married. So we all know that. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So this woman, Aries, met this man, Cameron, because he's a local Cincinnati rapper. And she wasn't into rappers and whatever, but then she went to his page and she was like, ooh, he's sexy. And I'm like, where? He's not ugly, don't get me wrong, but sexy? I don't agree with that statement. But I don't have to, it is what it is. So she slides into his DMs, and while they're talking and having great conversation, he doesn't actually tell her that he is about to go to prison for drugs, for marijuana, specifically for trafficking, because this man was caught on the airplane with 30 pounds worth of marijuana, getting sloppy, having American Airlines be complicit in his drug trafficking. They don't take kindly to that. They snatched his ass up as soon as he landed wherever he landed. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know how long he's been in prison, but he's out. And so in this very first episode, we see her have a conversation with her daughter about it. And she's talking about equating her daughter and her husband. I mean, her daughter and and Cameron. And I don't like that. I'm like, why does your daughter even have to worry about whether or not you're going to pay too much attention to Cameron. I feel like you're telling her too much of your business. So they're at a plant store trying to get him a plant so that when he's at the halfway house, he's not going to be lonely. And he'll have something to take care of. But she kills that plant. So there's that. She ends up spending too much money on it. It's $200. And she's like having to check her bank account before she swipes. I was like, ooh, embarrassing. It's embarrassing. If you're going to spend $200, you need to check your account before. You need to check your account before you go into the store. Okay? And we all do it. But we don't do it in front of the salesperson. She's already took out $10K from her 401k to pay for this man because she thinks that, I guess, when he gets out, he's going to take care of her with what? That man does not have any discernible skills. And when he comes out, he says that he likes money the fast way. And that's the reason why he does what he does. And that he doesn't know any other way to live. And that he doesn't know what he's going to do. He kind of likes the danger of it. And I'm like, girl, you about to get with somebody who is like, this ain't no Mike who's about to turn his ways and become a different person. No, this man is like, nah, I'm just going to be smarter. He comes out of prison and he's saying a bunch of awkward stuff. And it's cute because he's like, oh, I just can't wait to have your face. He wants her to sit on his face. And he just keeps saying it. And he's like, I want to do like this. It was like, you are so embarrassing, but cute at the same time. And I also really like that he's nerdy and he likes Dragon Ball Z. I'm into that. So I think I'm going to like Cameron, but I don't think I'm going to like Aries. I don't know. We'll see. So I like the fact that he says that she was real cool and it was like the homie, which is what you want. You want a man who thinks of you as one of the homies. You want a man who like, because then I feel it just always feels like he's gonna respect. I feel personally he's gonna respect you more, and that you're not gonna be treated like you don't matter. Because just like Mike and Justine, sometimes these men come out just thinking they could treat women any kind of way. And the fact that it seems like he respects her makes me very happy. Yeah. All right, you guys, I need to give myself like a good little break before I go into talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. So if you guys want to hear me talk some more, I am coming on to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race at 6:40, which is in about 19 minutes. And y'all, I know I don't touch RuPaul's Drag Race, but I have been watching RuPaul's Drag Race since season 1, and I have literally seen every iteration of it. I've seen, well, no, I didn't watch Italia and I didn't watch French because sometimes like just reading the dialogue is too much. Reading the captions or is too much. But I watch Canada, I watch Down Under, I watch UK, I'm watching the Philippines right now. I did watch the first season of the Dutch one. Like, I really love RuPaul's Drag Race, and I kind of want to share it with you guys. And I'm worried that it's going to feel like work, and maybe this is the only season that I'll do, but I'm really excited for this season's crop of queens, and I have a lot of shit to talk. So if you guys want to watch that, I'm going to go live in about now 18 minutes. So join me. Thank you so much for those of you guys who joined me on this Christmas Eve. This is the only time I could fit it in, so I got to do it. And for those of you who are across the pond or in Europe and it's already Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys next time, or see you on the replay gang. All right. Bye. Oh, Haitian Empress. Thank you. Giselle. Indy. Y'all have a great day. Monique King, Liverpool Lass, Ramsterdam, Busola. Everybody else who joined me in part 2. Okay, for real now. Bye.